Hey everybody, it's GauntletX and welcome back to some more Magic Arena. Today I'll be playing another Arena Cube Draft, so check out what we got in our Pick 1 Pack 1 and start building us a sweet deck, shall we? So first and foremost, I think this pack is exceptional. There are a lot of cards you could take and not go particularly wrong. The Great Henge is ridiculous. It's a super good card draw engine, as well as mana and life gain. All of that kind of stuff for a green-based stompy deck with a lot of big creatures. There's Brazen Borrower, which is really cheap interaction, as well as a cheap, really big flyer. Thrix can really surprise your opponent out of nowhere, and then if you manage to get this out under a control deck, all of a sudden all your other big stuff can't be countered. So I do really like Thrix. Skyclave Apparition is cheap removal on a creature, and even if they kill the apparition, they don't get their card back, they just get a creature token back. So that's really good in Cube, where your general 3-mana card is going to be better than just like a 3/3. It's going to be some rare mythic stacked up with a bunch of good abilities. Stonecoil Serpent's nice because it doesn't commit us to anything. It's going to be a good card for literally any deck. This is just a really excellent pack overall. I think I'm going to take the Great Henge. I really, really like this card. I think it's super powerful, and it just fills a role that the green decks are generally missing, which is getting a bunch of card draw. And it does that while still being mana ramp and life gain, still accomplishing some other tasks as well. So here we are now, pick 2. Nothing really simple to follow up the Great Henge with. Great follow-ups to the Great Henge are just going to be high-power creatures, like Lovestruck Beast is incredible with it. Just a 3-mana 5/5 to get this Great Henge out on turn 4. But the only green card here is Vastwood Surge, which would be fine. It's definitely good if you're a multicolor deck. You need to pull out a couple lands of different colors, but it's not like the greatest follow-up to Great Henge ever, so it's an option. But there's also like Siege Gang Commander, which I really like in red. Spits out 3 1/1 goblins, and you can sacrifice goblins to do 2 damage to any target, so it's a bunch of removal spells in one, or it's a finisher, just attack at your opponent and throw them at your opponent's face. There's a Braid, which is nice flexible removal for red. 3 damage to a creature to kill a small creature, or destroy an artifact to kill something like the Great Henge. There are multiple good artifacts in the cube. Teleportation Circle could be fun to build around, flickering an artifact or creature every turn to get its enter the battlefield effect again. Witch of the Moors is another fun build around. I think I just really like a Braid here. I think that's just a super flexible, cheap, instant speed removal spell kind of card there. Alright, now I'm going to wish that I had taken the 4-mana grab 2 basics card, because I'm easily going to slam down a Golos here. I think this is one of the best cards in the whole cube. It is not particularly difficult to get the non-basic lands to support a 5-color activated ability like Golos has, especially when Golos pulls out a land to help get that mana. So Golos, the 5-mana or the 5-color ability I'm talking about, lets you cast 3 cards off the top of your library for free. So really, really powerful card here. Super good card to try to go down the 5-color route. We'd love to wheel Rootbound Crag or Fabled Passage as the best wheels, because when you're playing a 5-color deck, your core color is usually going to be green, because that gives you all of the Cultivate style mana fixing, the Gilded Goose style mana fixing. So the green-based dual lands are high picks, and the picks like Fabled Passage are like #1 picks, where this is a land of whatever color you need at the time. So it's going to be an easy Golos for me. But yeah, I would love to wheel the Goose or the lands there. This is really nice. This is exactly what I was talking about, where green is going to be one of the core colors for a Golos deck, because you have cards like Cultivate that are perfect for 5-color. Grab 2 basic land cards from your library, put 1 onto the battlefield and 1 into your hand. Super good card there. I do love Ranger Class and Fauna Shaman if we were going for just a green stompy deck with the Great Henge here, but now that we've taken a Golos, I think Cultivate is going to be the more important card for this. If you've seen my last green deck where I was mono green, you'll know how much I love Fauna Shaman. I got a last pick Fauna Shaman and just lost my mind. That was a really exciting moment for me. And then obviously Ranger Class is just very good. If you've played any Standard or Alchemy, this card's an all-star in their an aggressive green strategy. So these are both sweet picks, as would be like a dual land, but Cultivate I think is just really good and really important for mana fixing in a 5-color strategy. Now we have Radha, Heart of Keld, which is exactly what the doctor ordered. Radha is a 3-mana 3/3 in green-red that allows us to play the top card of our library as long as it is a land card. We can play lands from the top of our library, so we are going to be a land-centric deck here with Golos. We're going to be taking non-basic lands highly, and with cards like Cultivate, we're going to be pulling those lands out. With Radha, We're also going to be casting lands off the top, just really good for this kind of strategy. She's also a potential game ender for 6 mana, getting +X/+X till end of turn, where X is the number of lands we control, which really works well in the strategy. Esika's Chariot is generally a little bit of a stronger card, even if it is the nerfed version that only gives you 1 cat, but I think Rada just slots into this deck so perfectly. I'm going to take her here. That being said, there's Forsaken Crossroads. I don't think I'd take a blue-black duel over Rada, but Forsaken Crossroads is basically another Evolving Wilds type card, whatever color we choose. Maybe we're supposed to take that over. It's one of the weird new Alchemy cards, so I don't know. I haven't played with it yet. I'm just going to take the Rada, take the bread and butter kind of cards that I already know are great. And wow, this is an exceptional pack for us. There's Sheltered Thicket for a green-red dual land, Paradise Druid for a mana dork that taps for a mana of any color, and Escape to the Wilds that is a massive card draw spell for green-red. Exile the top 5 cards of your library, and you may play any cards that you've exiled until the end of your next turn, and you can play an additional land this turn. So if you exile land off this, you just immediately drop it down. These are all really good. I really like Escape to the Wilds. Maybe I like it too much, but I'm going to take it here over the duel, over the Mana Dork. We are definitely green-red lands here. We are so committed to that. So we have Ram Through, which is going to be removal if we have enough creatures on the board. We have Llanowar Elves that can ramp us up but doesn't mana fix us. Shatterskull Smashing is nice. It's a land when we need the land, or potentially 2 removal spells in 1 if we have enough mana. Spend 6 mana into it, we get to do 4 damage divided where we need it, so 2 damage to 2 things, or 3 to 1 and 1 to another. I do like Shatterskull Smashing quite a bit. I also do like the dual lands here. Although technically we're literally just green-red outside of Golos, so we could even just turn into some pretty standard Gruul deck. I'm going to take the Shatterskull Smashing here. Alright, now we have Play with Fire for cheap removal, 1 mana for 2 damage, or Wayward Swordtooth, which helps us cast additional lands each turn. We'll play additional lands each turn, as well as it puts a 5-power creature on the board. It can't attack or block until we have 10 or more permanents. However, it still technically is a 5-power creature on the board, so it helps us cast the Great Henge earlier. I think I just really like the synergy between the Great Henge and Wayward Swordtooth, as well as if we're going to be green-red lands, we're probably going to run a high land count and have a lot of expensive cards where just playing an additional land each turn is going to be helpful. So I like Wayward Swordtooth here over Play with Fire. Alright, now we take that big card to ramp into, Drakuzeth here potentially, or Demon Bolt to make sure we have more cheap removal so we don't just die early game all the time. I actually think we might be pivoting into more of just not actually running Golos and just being green-red stompy to make the Great Henge really shine. Escape to the Wilds, Rada, Wayward Swordtooth. We have a bunch of cards that just work well in green-red stompy already. I'm going to take the Drakuzeth here. Again, I'm not like committed to not doing the Golos 5-color thing, but it's not a guarantee anymore. Like, we have such a solid foundation for any green-red deck at this point. And Vastwood Surge, this is not really going to see play if we're just green-red, unless we have a ton to ramp into. But this will definitely see play if we're going for the Golos 5-color. And nothing else in here is going to see play in either deck, so easy Vastwood Surge, easy Rootbound Crag here. It's a green-red duel, so it's a perfect dual land even if we don't do the 5-color, and if we do, it's going to be helpful there too. Cura is fun in a stompy deck, as is Karuga, but just take that good mana fixing. We've got some difficult costs. We got a double green, we got a triple red, a lot of dual colored cards. Wow, when we see the Ranger class this late, yeah, I think that just aggressive green is definitely open enough to just go for Gruul aggro over the Golos plan here. I'm taking Ranger class, that card's sick. And now Esika's Chariot. Alright, I'll take Esika's Chariot. Sure, it's nerfed, but it's still insane. Still a really good card. Yeah, I'll take it over the Volcanic Salvo there. And even Captivating Crew is an aggressive enough card to just be Gruul aggro. And Ram Through, last pick. Nice instant speed removal for our deck. So now, pack 2, pick 1. It just gives us all the choices in the world. Tons of stuff that's going to be great in Gruul. Dragonkin Berserker, a 2-drop that spits out dragons later in the game. Rekindling Phoenix, a 4/3 flyer that's really hard to kill. Primal Might, a removal spell that also buffs our creature for extra damage. Tovolar's Huntmaster, an army in a can, a 6/6 and 2 2/2s minimum. Potentially more if this attacks during the night. What a pack for us. Good Lord. I really want to take that Tovolar's Huntmaster here, I'm thinking. I think this is just the best card. It's the highest impact, but it is also 6 mana, and we want to make sure we have a nice aggressive curve with a ton of cheap creatures too, with the way our deck is starting to shape up. So I could see a big argument for Dragonkin Berserker for that. I think we're already doing pretty well on removal. We have Shatterskull Smashing, Ram Through, and Abrade at the ready, so I don't know if we need Primal Might. I'm going to take Tovolar's Huntmaster, but I think the next best card I'd take would be Berserker and then Phoenix. I think Berserker, just being a 2-drop creature, is a pretty big deal. So maybe I'm taking the wrong pick there. We'll see how things pan out. We see Embercleave. Good lord. Embercleave is quite a game-ending card. If you played any Standard when Eldraine was still around, I'm sure you have lost to tons of Embercleaves, even if you have not cast them yourselves. This card is absurd. +1/+1 double strike and trample permanently to whatever you equip it onto, and then you can just equip it to other creatures later if that one dies. Yeah, Embercleave is just so good. I'm going to take it here. I think Kazandu Mammoth would be pretty sweet for us. It's a card I like quite a bit. And then if that weren't here, then just like a Tender Shoot Dryad can be another one of those Army in a Can style cards that's pretty fun. Or just like Shadow Spear. +1/+1 trample lifelink, a pretty big buff on an equipment. So I'm going to take Embercleave though. It's just an absurd magic card altogether. Love taking another red-green duel here. I'm going to take it over Heroic Intervention. This card is very good in the specific scenarios where it does do something, but it's narrow enough that it doesn't always do something to where, I don't know, I just find it being a dead card in my hand a decent enough time to just take the card that's guaranteed to go in the deck and do good things first. Alright, Toralf's Disciple. I have cast many Toralf's Disciple in my time already, and the card's only been out for like a month. I just really love 3 mana, 3/3 haste, shove a bunch of lightning bolts in your deck. Like, yeah, that's right up my alley. That's something I love to do. Ooh, Augur of Autumn or Lifecrafter's Bestiary. I think I'm on the Augur of Autumn here. I want to make sure I have a really high creature count and both fill a similar role, being a card draw engine. The Lifecrafter's Bestiary scries at the beginning of your upkeep, and if you paid additional green mana as you cast your creatures, you draw another card. Augur of Autumn lets us cast any lands from the top of our library. We'll play any lands from the top of our library. I always get that mixed up. Or cast creatures from the top of our library if we have Coven. So if we have 3 different powers among our creatures. So yeah, I think Augur of Autumn is really good, as is Bestiary, but I prefer the creature that potentially draws us cards over the artifact there. Ooh, easy Inscription of Abundance here. This is great in the green decks. Gives green a really flexible card that works as a removal spell, a combat trick, a buff spell, some life gain. Lots of great stuff on Inscription of Abundance, and I'm very happy to play it. So let's actually sort by when we're casting stuff here. So just sort all of the non-creature stuff to the side, basically, so we can see how many actual 2-drop creatures we have. See, this is where I should have probably taken that Dragonskull Berserker. We have 1 actual like creature on turn 2 that we're jamming out. So yeah, we really want more 2-drop creatures, I think. And Incubation Druid doesn't really attack, but I mean, it still ramps us into the bigger stuff, which is cool, and it gives us something to play on turn 2, even if it isn't that aggressive. And Axe I'd only really be excited about in monocolor. It would be fine here, but we're more into green than we are red, so it's not going to be that big. So I'm just going to take Incubation Druid, have something else to jam out turn 2. And I think for that same reason, I'm happy to take an Outland Liberator. It's also main deckable artifact and enchantment hate. If you flip to nighttime, this just attacks. Just by attacking, it destroys an artifact or enchantment. And then, of course, either during the day or the night, if your opponent has an artifact or enchantment that's scary enough to be better than your 2/2, you can cash in your 2/2 to kill it. So pretty good card there. Sawtooth Demolisher is good as well, but I want to make sure I have the 2 mana creatures to get aggressive. I like Primal Might here at this point. We're not really a Chandra deck or a Soulscar Mage deck. I think we just don't... Well, I mean, I guess we do have enough non-combat damage to try to do the -1/-1 counter thing, but I think both of these are way better in mono red or like red-black for Chandra, where you get value off your creatures being sacrificed. Wield the Kazandu Mammoth. I'm very happy with that. That'll go right in. I like that better than the very expensive Finale of Devastation. Just really nice creature on curve with 3 mana, 3/3, but whenever you play a land, it gets +2/+2 till end of turn, so potentially like a 3-mana 5/5, stuff like that. And I do love some flip lands. Although I'm more down on them lately. I've been drafting them very highly and they just haven't been doing much for me, so I guess I'll take Heroic Intervention here over the flip land this time. And none of this does anything for us. I guess we'll take the Hostile. We do get the Lifecrafter's Bestiary. I might cut it. We have a few legendaries. We have like 4 legendary creatures. Still feels like not enough for Dryas Emulating Inferno. Or Traxos. Well, maybe Traxos, I don't know. Oh, it enters tapped? Yeah, if it enters tapped, then it's not enough. If it entered untapped to where we get 1 attack with it guaranteed, then maybe it would be. So what do we have now? No cheap creatures. No 2-drop creatures, which is what I'm really looking for. But we do have Burn Down the House, which is nice. If we're on the back foot and we need a Wrath effect, then this is 5 to everything. And if we're not, then we still get 3 1/1s with haste that deal damage when they die. Yeah, I like Burn Down the House here. Nice flexible card. Definitely not a Weaponize the Monsters deck. Trumpeting Herds, like, just okay. A couple 3/3s. Crush the Weak is fine, but it's just a smaller Wrath than Burn Down the House. If I'm taking a Wrath, I'm going to take that. And we're not going to have a super high instant sorcery count to play around with Mizzix's Mastery. Yeah, I'm into Burn Down the House. Although, actually, Sky Sovereign's pretty nice, too. I do want to mention that. That is a pretty nice vehicle. When it enters the battlefield, deal 3 to a creature or planeswalker. And then whenever it attacks, do it as well. So if you crewed an attack in, Sky Sovereign's pretty big. Alright, so we have Earthshaker Kenner, so we get another 2-drop creature, a really aggressive one too. I like that. I also love Lovestruck Beast with the Great Henge. Get a 5-power creature out, make the Great Henge 5 mana less to cast, make it only cost 4. That works so well with the Great Henge that I am again just going to take it here over the Earthshaker Kenner. We'll just never have 2-mana creatures, it'll be okay. I promise. Somehow, it'll be fine. Don't worry about it. Mana curves are for chumps. Am I that far down the mana curves are for chumps plan that I want to just take Kogla? I don't think so. I think I want to take Battlecry Goblin now. A pretty great aggressive 2-drop. 2 mana 2/2, but it's got a good fire breathing ability. And later in the game, once you have a 6 power attacking, it's going to just keep spitting out 1/1s, which is nice. I like that quite a bit. Thunder Rebuke's good too, but I want to get the cheap creatures. Now, ooh, Glorybringer. Is there a 2-mana creature here? There's a 1-mana creature. Oh, and there's Helena and Elena too. Oh my god, this pack is so good. There's a Pelt Collector on 1 that just keeps getting bigger throughout the game in these kind of stompy decks. There's a Helena and Elena, which gives a creature haste every turn and 2 additional power. There's Glorybringer, which comes in with haste, hits your opponent for 4 in the sky, and kills one of their creatures. These are all absurdly good cards, all 3 of these. I think it's between Helena and Glorybringer for me, though, because they're both so high impact. I'm just going to take Glorybringer. I just absolutely love this card ever since it came out in Amonkhet a few years ago. We get to do cat combo. I know there's a Skewer the Critics. I know there's a Lava Coil. Cheap removal, probably the correct pick. But when we have Asuka's Chariot, if we ever attack with an Asuka's Chariot with an a Tree Folk token from running 7 out, we get to copy a giant Tree Folk. It's such a game-winning combo that it's just a huge thing in Standard and Alchemy, and it's going to be absolutely fantastic in Cube as well.
Must never be unleashed on another forest.
Okay, so now there's a green-red duel, but it always comes in tapped. Don't love that. There's a Dragon Master Outcast, which is kind of cute. Like, we play a 1/1 and then maybe late game we start getting some flyers. Primal Command, but we got a lot of 5-mana stuff going on. A lot of late game stuff. You know, just take a dorky little 1/1. We just cast a 1/1 on curve. Maybe it becomes a big bomb late game. Maybe. Dragon's Guard Elite or Vyushino Pyromancer. I think we're actually doing pretty good on instant sorceries. Yeah, 6 instants, 5 sorceries. We can build a little bit around a Dragon's Guard Elite for this to get bigger as the game progresses. Do a lot of damage. Yeah, I'll take a Dragon's Guard Elite here. Ooh. Wow. good 2-drops like Werewolf Pack Leader and Ember's Shieldbreaker, or we have Domri. Good non-creature card here. I do really love being above the curve in terms of power toughness for the cost. A 2-mana 3/3 here, a little difficult to cast, but we are heavier into green than red. But I really like that with like Great Henge, getting that power down. And this draws us cards as well. And it can attack as a 5/3. This card is really good. But at the same time, Domri would be super good in this deck too. Buff the whole field and use it as a fight spell. I guess Trumpeting Herd at this point. I don't really want to play Crush the Weak. Some creatures that count as an instant or sorcery, plus we cast it twice because of Rebound. So it works well with Dragon's Guard Elite. Kind of a cute little weird combo there. I guess the Lightning Axe that I'm not going to play. Definitely not going to play the Deck of Many Things. This is like a black-red sack kind of planeswalker because it spits out devils that are like really good to sacrifice. I guess it gives your whole field haste. If I play this turn 4 and then later I play like a Tovolar's Huntmaster and give everything +1/+0 haste, that is pretty big.
I am death, swift and righteous.
We wield the Pelt Collector. I'm very happy about that. I might try out Zerial. Probably not, but the magical Christmas Land case scenarios for Zerial are pretty insane. Where you play this and then you play... I guess you play literally anything turn 5 and 6 and it's good. Like, play Red and 7, make a 5/5 Tree Folk, bam, now it's a 6/5 haste. Play a Jakuzeth, give Jakuzeth haste. Giving haste is big. That's true. Alright, well this is just a sick Gruul deck. Sick Gruul aggro deck with tons of options for what to cut here. Cutting Golos just right off the bat. Shatter Skull's a land. Probably cutting Bestiary. I want to keep that creature count pretty high. Like to try to be just like creatures, instants, and sorceries. But mostly creatures. Instants and sorceries to combo with Dragon's Guard Elite, but it's still a 2-mana 2/2. We don't need that many instant sorceries, we just need like one. We just need to cast one when we have this out at some point so that it becomes a 3/3, and then we can start doubling them up later if we run out of things to do. And even Toralf's Disciple loads our deck up with lightning bolts, so that's potential instants and sorceries there. Yeah, I don't think I want to cut a single creature. I want to keep that creature count really high. For Embercleave, the Great Henge, these are both cards that get much better when you have a really high creature count. Alright, we've got the Parallax Styles off. Although I guess we have non-creature cards that are also sort of creatures. Like the Ranger class and the Esk's Chariot. The Trumpeting Herd. We need to cut 10 more cards still. Great Henge is ideally like a 4-mana card if we get one of our 5-power creatures out. Probably pretty inconsistent. How consistent is Garruk's Uprising? Not that consistent. We have Wayward Swordtooth, Lovestruck Beast, Captivating Crew, Glorybringer, Tovolar's Huntmaster, Jakuzeth. It's like 6 creatures that draw a card off of it. Yeah, we'll get rid of it. We have to get rid of a lot of stuff. Maybe Dragon Master Outcast. These creatures are much better on the aggressive. On turn 1. Dragon Master Outcast is essentially like another 6-drop, so we just like put it here. That's when it starts doing things. We have a lot of 3-mana stuff to do, so I don't know if we even need to be ramping up with Incubation Druid. It's probably still worth it though, because the games where we get to go Incubation Druid into Esk's Chariot are really nice. Like we have some 4-mana cards that are really good to ramp into on turn 3. But I'll consider cutting that. I'm also going to consider cutting Scorch Spitter, Dragon Master Outcast. A lot of 3-mana stuff to do. I don't think we're going to be spending the time to cultivate. Especially when our curve is not that high. Dracu's Death is pretty high, but other than that, it's not that bad. I like the Trumpeting Herd in here. It's a little weird. I mean, it's just 4 mana for a 3/3, and then you get another 3/3 next turn. So it's kind of slow, not the greatest thing ever, but it's a fun combo with Esca's Chariot. We get to make 3/3 tokens instead of 2/2 tokens if that goes off, and it's also a fun combo with Dragon's Guard Elite, get 2 counters onto that. It's probably one of our weaker non-creature cards though, so we'll put it to the side. I'm actually not super sure about Burn Down the House either. At this point. We have to cut 9 cards. If we cut everything I set aside, we still need to cut 3 more. I feel like removal is pretty important, but like you look at the quality of our non-removal, non-creature cards, it's insane. So I'm just trying to find what to do to make more room here. We would cut like, like maybe we're cutting removal. Cut a Braid Ram through. We still have 2 removal spells at least, Inscription of Abundance and Primal Might that way. And then we just cut like 1 more creature here. Maybe Captivating Crew. Kind of random in the middle. Maybe Dracu's Death just because it's a ton of mana. But yeah, because if I really want to keep this removal in and make sure I have a high removal count, like if you look at the other non-creature cards we have to cut, they're all so good. Like Embercleave and Great Henge are just absurd magic cards. Esca's Chariot's still great, and it's a really good combo with the Ren and 7 that we have here. Escape to the Wilds is a draw 5 in Gruul, which is a rarity and a very good card. We have too many good cards, and I don't want to cut them. Well, we could cut 1 land here because we have Shatter Skull Smashing, I guess. It's not like ideal, because I think we would still like the benefit of having Shatter Skull Smashing as a flip land and running essentially 18 lands, because we have a 6-drop and specifically a 7-drop. But at the same time, we only have 1 of each of those. The rest of our curve is like a bunch at 3 basically, and some 5s. So maybe we don't need that many lands. And we just cut 1 here, and then we still have essentially 17 because we have Shatter Skull Smashing for Shatter Skull the Hammer pass. Yeah, sure, cut a red source for that. This deck looks so fun. I like 8-6 split on it. With just so much double green, it's insane. Werewolf Pack Leader on 2, Augur, Vodum, Kazandu, Mammoth on 3. This is 10 green sources and 8 red sources. I can even see cutting another red source, because we don't need double red till Glorybringer. Although we do need triple red for Dracu's Death. We do need double red for Embercleave as well. The mana's a bit hard here. The mana's not great. Oh, we have Kazandu Mammoth for a flip land as well. Yeah, we're very safe to cut a land then, because we have Mammoth and Shatter Skull Smashing. So I'm happy with the cut I made then. Oh, look at that curve. That's what I'm talking about. That looks reasonable. But that's assuming we can play Henge on 4, which is not often. Probably have to put Hedge on 5 or even 6. This is probably the actual curve. We only have to attack with 2 creatures to have Embercleave go out on turn 4, so that's a reasonable assumption for when Embercleave gets cast. but not really for Great Henge. That's the Magical Christmas Land Great Henge curve. That's the if we Sword Tooth or Lovestruck Beast on turn 3, then we henge on 4. Alright. Yeah, I like it. And I guess keeping the 6 mountains, 8 forests for Embercleave, because Embercleave is big. Alright. Yeah. Let's do it. Gruul Aggro. We're just going with the basic deck name today. For a pretty basic but really good looking deck. See how it operates as we enter round 1. Alright, here we are in round 1. The mono green hand is a little bit weird, but I do really like the cards within it. It's got a good curve. I'm going to keep it. We can play a 1/1 on turn 1 with Heart's Desire on Lovestruck Beast. Outland Liberator turn 2, and then Kazandu Mammoth turn 3. That is if we hit a land next turn. If we don't hit a land, we'll just play our Kazandu Mammoth tapped here, because we definitely want to get to Huntmaster, and we also really want to just play Lovestruck Beast turn 3. So we do hit a land, so I think we're probably just playing the Mountain here Liberator. I mean, we could just play the green source here because we've got double green cards in hand. Attack for 1. Get this Liberator down. Probably Lovestruck Beast turn 3 so that we still have the ability to play this Mammoth as a land if we need to get to our 6 mana for Huntmaster, depending on how we draw. I mean, it's also just a bigger attacker if we don't consistently hit lands. Inscription of Ruin? Alright, goodbye. Primal Might. Captivating Crew. Drakuzeth is the draw. Wish I had that one turn earlier to discard that, because wow, that is not getting cast. There's the Lovestruck Beast. Maybe we should have discarded Huntmaster. That might have been a greedy keep, because we only have 4 mana out of the 6 needed. We do need to hit 2 more mana sources before we get Huntmaster out. Yeah, probably should have discarded Huntmaster, kept Primal Might, because Primal Might has a huge swing if they like play a blocker. But if they never play a blocker, then I guess it's all fine. If we flip tonight, we can blow up that Cosmos Elixir, but we could also just sack Liberator to do so, which may be worth it. I think I'd rather play, well, their Mardu control here. They have Inscription of Ruin, been cast in a Cosmos Elixir, so they're very likely to be control deck. I feel like I don't want to overcommit to the board and get hit by a Wrath, because these are the 3 Wrath colors really in the cube, and they're already playing controlling cards, so I'm going to play this as a land for Huntmaster and just attack all, and probably blow up Cosmos Elixir before their end step sacking Liberator. Like that plays, I think that plays really well against a Wrath. Although I guess if they don't flip today, we could also just let them gain the 2 life from an Elixir again, and then we don't even have to sack Trap Breaker to kill the Elixir, we just have to attack with it. So if they don't kill Trap Breaker, we sack it and kill Cosmos Elixir. If they do try to kill it, we just I'm sorry, if they don't try to kill it, then we attack with it to kill the Elixir. And if they do kill it, then we sack it to kill the Elixir. So they did kill it with Angel of Sanctions there. So 5 mana, we're only 1 mana away now from Tovolar's Huntmaster. This ability only works when it attacks to draw the card. Okay, so we're not gonna draw the card here, so just attack with the 5/5, hit for 5. I guess they get to recast it from the grave to exile something. They choose not to. And it is actually really nice that that Outland Liberator came out on turn 2 and started the day-night cycle, so that it might be nighttime when our Tovolar's Huntmaster comes out. So we might be casting Tovolar's Pack Leader instead. Just a little bit bigger and the potential to fight things. Alright, we don't have the mana yet. We do have Werewolf Pack Leader drawing us a card here. Could play Toralf's Disciple. Unless they have Settle the Wreckage that does kill them. I guess it's bad against multiple removal spells, but if they settle us, we get the lands we need for Huntmaster and Drakuzeth. I don't know if it's better to attack with 2 5-power creatures here and draw a card, or send Disciple out as well and not draw the card, because then Werewolf Pack Leader would just be a 3/3. We wouldn't buff it. Oops. I'm just going to attack with a 2. I mean, that still presents lethal. So they're going to destroy the Pack Leader. Alright. At least we get to investigate just immediately, so if we hit a land for turn, we play it. So they definitely block with Angel of Sanctions here. It's a forced block, so we'll get that 1 damage into. Unless they had a second instant speed removal in hand and they were holding that one to play a little cheeky. Be like, oh, I don't hold my removal. I'm going to use it pre-combat. And then, surprise, I do. I held this removal spell. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 permanents if we play Sword Tooth. We play land for turn. If we draw land for turn, then next turn we'll have the City's Blessing, but otherwise we won't. I'm going to play Sword Tooth. Because if we don't hit a land next turn, we can just play Disciple anyway. And it'll just be hasting, so it doesn't matter. And then if we do hit a land, it hits for more damage next turn. It hits for 5. Alright, so they're going to go ahead and exile the Lovestruck Beast. We don't hit a land. We do hit Inscription of Abundance, which is enough to kill them, I believe. Yes, we can fight the Angel and hit for exact lethal. Target creature you control fights a creature you don't control. And that is 4 damage on the board. And that is game 1 down in our favor. Game 2 with Gruul with another insane curve. Turn 1, Heart's Desire. Turn 2, Ranger Class. Turn 3, Disciple or Lovestruck Beast or Kazandu Mammoth. If we hit another green source. This is some excellent stuff. Looks like our opponent is on the play with Chandra Sleeves. So they're probably aggressive. Start with a turn 1 Alseid of Life's Bounty. 1/1 lifelinker they can sacrifice to give something protection from the color of their choice until end of turn. White, green, and blue, and they play an Arcus Acolyte here. Reach, lifelink, and their whole board has Outlast now, so their whole board can spend 1 mana, tap, and put a +1/+1 counter on it. That's really good. It's a Modern Horizons card. Heliod Suncrown now. Ooh, attack with Acolyte. Yeah, I'm gonna get that out of here. Yeah, no thanks. I would like to not deal with that. Alright, so I'll see it as a 2/2 now, thanks to Heliod. We could just play a 5/5 and it's hard for them to block. We could also play Disciple and load a bunch of Lightning Bolts into the deck to blow up their Alseid if we draw into one. You know me and my Lightning Bolts. I might do that. I might do that. Probably supposed to just do Lovestruck Beast here. We could also buff Ranger Class and attack for 2, but then they just lifelink back, so Not much point. I don't know. I'm going to play Lovestruck Beast. I feel like we're probably supposed to do that because they can't attack into that. Yep, so they just pass turn. Play Battlecry Goblin, and buff the Ranger class. I'm down for that jam. Should go for post-combat. I'm very bad at that. I always give my opponent information because I get too excited. Lovestruck Beast can't attack anymore, but I'm just using it to hold off the All-See-It anyway. So I am fine with this. Bosri's Lieutenant puts a counter on one of their cards, and whenever a creature they control with a counter on it dies, they get a 2/2 Knight. And it has protection from multicolored. And Vigilance. Just a lot of stuff on that card. I don't really want to escape to the wilds without any mana up right now to cast whatever I draw into. When I have more things, I could just play this turn anyway. I can also just buff Ranger class up and start playing things off the top with that. I don't know. Maybe we do just escape. I'm not quite to the point where I'm like super confident about my board state to block all this stuff, so let's put a Mammoth out. Sure. If they get enough White Devotion to have this Heliod active, that's going to be a really bad time for us. It's going to be an indestructible creature. Time Warp. Okay. If they don't attack, it's basically 5 mana draw a card here. Nice. It's always nice when your opponent doesn't get to just like go off with Time Warp. It's like, yeah, they just spent 5 mana to draw a card. I guess it's 0 mana draw a card because all their lands are untapped still, but not great. Ooh, Dracuzeth with 6 mana? We're 1 away from that. Play creatures from the top of our library with this. I don't want to escape to the wilds because then next turn I just want to play Dracuzeth. I don't want to play whatever I escape into. So I kind of want to just upgrade the Ranger class. See what's on top. If it's a 2 or less creature, we play that and get it out of the way for Dracuzeth here. I'm playing really weird, but... Oh, it's Primal Might. So definitely no Dracuzeth then next turn. Sadness. Yeah, I probably should have just dumped Escape to the Wilds at this point. It's a super high impact card. Primal Might is legitimately a good draw though. It just means we don't get to do Dracuzeth, but we do still get to do something pretty big and important if our opponent doesn't have a counterspell or a flicker effect or something like that. See, I can Primal Might now, and then we know we're drawing a forest next turn. In worst case scenario, they're going to kill our creature that can't attack anyway when we Primal Might. So I kind of like Primal Might and then just play Disciple, but don't attack with it, so we know we draw the forest and play Dracuzeth, and then we escape to the wilds the turn after that. It's a little weird. Disciple only costs 3 mana, so we could Primal Might and do +3/+3 if I want also, and then we do it on Mammoth instead, so we attack big. We attack largely. So I'm gonna try to kill the Lieutenant, but they just crack the All-See-It. I guess Primal Might isn't that good here. Yeah, Primal Might is not great here. We're just killing their All-See-It of Life's Bounty, which means they are getting a 2/2 Knight token. They're going to counter it anyway. Alright. So we get the counterspell out of the way for Drakuzeth. That's cool. You know, I'm going to stop sandbagging this Escape to the Wilds. I've changed my mind. I've flippity-floppity back and forth several times, and now we're just going to do that. Now that their mana's down, so they can't counter that. So no Drakuzeth next turn. We're just going to do Swordtooth Huntmaster, probably. Two lands in one turn is pretty cool for Gazandu Mammoth. We do have fine blocks without it. Just not great blocks. But man, that's a big mammoth. That's an 8/8 mammoth coming in. And it is going to hit for 8. Nice. This is my kind of deck. This just brings me back to when I started the game off of the... I started the game back in 2009 when Shards of Alara was the newest set. Or no, Alara Reborn was the newest set. But it was like kitchen table Magic, so we weren't playing the newest set. We had some pre-con decks from original Ravnica, and I played the Gruul one. Just the Gruul Ravnica City of Guilds deck. Or it was Guild Pact was the set that had Gruul in it. So, Gruul will always be near and dear to my heart. Alright, so they got a Essica out. And Skyclave Cleric. Six, 7, 8, 9. We have enough mana to play, yep, just as I expected, Huntmaster and Swordtooth. So sorry, sorry Captivating Crew. But you're gonna be gone. Wow, look at this board state. See if Mammoth kills something here. Block with the All-Seeing it is, so they get a 2/2 Knight and they gain some life, which means they get a counter on another card. Our opponent's deck's doing some good synergies, but our cards have just been massively impactful. Uh-oh, that's pretty impactful. Intrepid Adversary. They can kick it twice, so their whole field gets +2/+2. I think we're still going to be okay, because we definitely have the blockers for everything they're doing, and then Drakuzeth, they can't block Drakuzeth, so Drakuzeth is our win con now. Just a big flyer, now that they're making it harder to get in through the ground, making it all clumpy there. I could alternatively just keep casting a bunch of creatures off the top and like digging through my deck, but I would rather get the win condition out when we have it in hand. Oop, there it is. That was not supposed to be a reference to the song, but I guess it worked out the way. Boop, there it is. There's the concession from our opponent. No removal to kill Drakuzeth means they are going to be hit for 8 from its combat damage, as well as an additional 4 from its ability, as well as we'll be doing 3 damage to the adversary and 3 damage to some other thing. If we don't play around anything, then we probably have lethal on board, but I would probably play it safe and just attack with Drakuzeth. So there is the concession from our opponent. We are now 2-0 as we head into round 3. Alright, pretty solid hand here. Turn 2 Ranger class, turn 3 Rada. Should try to cast a million things off the top of our library. If our opponent plays a good artifact or enchantment, I suppose we can just turn to a Liberator instead. But that seems unlikely. We've got a Drakuzeth coming up. If we can hit a bunch of lands off Rada, we can get there. So mono red so far foretells a card on turn. Excuse me, on turn 2. Probably a Demon Bolt, but it could be a Crush the Weak for 2 damage to all creatures. But I'm assuming, yeah, with mono red it's going to be Demon Bolt, just 1 mana, 4 damage. I think I would rather play Rada than any of these 2-drops. Although, I was just saying how they definitely have Demon Bolt. They might just bolt Rada here. Oh, literal Lightning Bolt instead, okay. Phoenix of Ash it is. This is not fun. This is my comeuppance for drafting mono red in every other cube. Mono red is just always absurd if red is not heavily drafted at your table. So play as many creatures as we can to block the Stormseeker, I guess. Play a Disciple and attack for 5, but they attack for more than that, plus they have probably bolts in hand. We're at 12. There's no way this is Crush the Weak, it's gotta be Demon Bolt. Rekindling Phoenix. Alright, they just got a bunch of flyers now. We're definitely gonna die to the flyers, especially because Stormseeker gives haste. Nothing to block the flyers, that's just game. Was Demon Bolt. Not much to say about that match. That was the mono red thing. The meme, the dream. The unstoppable damage machine. Alright, another mono green hand, but we're fine with that with what we've got in here. Lovestruck Beast again coming in clutch. 2 creatures on the 1 card is always nice. Cryptbreaker, turn 1 from our opponent. They can discard a card and spend 2 mana to create a 2/2 zombie. And then they can tap 3 untapped zombies to draw a card and lose a life. Turn 2 now here. They are in the Think Tank. Another swamp it is. Mono black thus far. And pass the turn. Reading the Cryptbreaker, so I assume they're going to be making a zombie here. They were just checking if it's instant speed. It is instant speed, so we can't attack with our 1/1 here, because they could just kill it with a zombie. So we'll just cast the Liberator past the turn. And they do choose to go ahead and make that zombie. Looks like they are black-red. So black-red aggro looking like, with Goblin Banneret as the discard. There are sacrifice synergies in the color pair as well, and Cryptbreaker helps with that. Discard a Torbran. And they definitely do not have the red mana to cast that. So they just get another 2/2 zombie there. Wow, Inscription could just demolish their soul here if we're lucky. If they go for a block. Then if not, we'll just play Lovestruck Beast. Alright, cool. We will kill both the zombies and have a 5/5 on the board now. Ooh, that voice crack. I'm back in middle school now. So triple swamp from our opponent in the black-red deck, so not a great time mana-wise for them, but there's a Skittering Surveyor. There you go. That'll be a mountain right there. Luckily for us, our Frenzy Trap Breaker is really good against that. We get to just attack and blow it up without even sacrificing the Trap Breaker. And honestly, at this point, am I attacking with the 1/1 as well? Because they have to trade Crypt Breaker into it if they want to kill it? I think I am. We'll just play Kazandu Mammoth instead of the Lovestruck Beast here. If they trade with our 1/1. They don't trade with the 1/1, so Lovestruck Beast it is. We hit a mountain, we got Escape to the Wilds ready, which is going to be awesome. Ooh, Immersturm Predator. That is never good for us. They can sack a creature to give it indestructible till end of turn and tap it, which puts a counter on it, makes it a 4/4 indestructible, which is still not good against a 5/5, so we actually do still get to just attack with two 5/5s here. It's not as bad as Immersturm Predator usually is. So it is going to stop all of our damage for the turn. It's not going to kill anything yet, but next turn it would kill what it blocks if they sacrifice something into it. Yeah, I don't have a reason to play this as a land unless I'm trying to hit Drakozeth, and if I'm trying to hit Drakozeth, I need to hit 3 red sources anyway, so another green source doesn't matter. Yeah, we'll play the Mammoth here. Over the Dragon's Guard Elite, excuse me. Ooh, Cursebound Witch is really good with Immersturm Predator, as is Anax. Okay. Well, now they have hundreds and hundreds of Sacrificial Father. Not really, but they have tons to sacrifice to it. Ooh, the Great Henge. Start going off with the Great Henge here. Yeah, that's super cool to me because we cannot attack in well anymore. We attack with Lovestruck Beast, they block with Predator, sack the Cursebound Witch. Now they have a 5/5 killing our 5/5, and they don't lose anything. I mean, they lose the Witch, but then they get a spell from its spellbook and a Satyr token. So our opponent is really... they're going to start to go off here. I guess now that we have two 5/5s, one of these... no, none of these get in still. They block one with the Witch, one with the Predator, sack the Witch to the Predator. We can blow up an axe as well. Do I just blow up an axe right now? If I blow up an axe right now, then they won't get a Satyr when they sack the Witch, unless they sack it right now, and if they sack it right now, they can't block with Predator because it'll be tapped. That kind of seems worth it to me. If I didn't have the Great Henge and Escape to the Wilds here, I wouldn't do this, because then my resources would matter, but I have so much card draw going on that I think that I have expendable resources at this point to just, like, go ham here. Alright, so they do the Cursebound Witch Predator play that I assumed they would. But now they only have one more thing to sacrifice left over and one card in hand. Although, I mean, 2 cards in hand because the spellbook. Yeah, the synergy they're getting here is very, very good. Guess I can't really attack well here anymore already. Uh-oh, Witch's Cottage puts something on top. Probably an axe. Crypt Breaker. Alright. That is a good card as well. There's the red source. I'm loving it. Escape to the Wilds, and let's just go to town. Oh yeah, let's go to town. Oh my god. Don't have the mana to do Glorybringer here, unfortunately. We're just drawing cards off Disciple now. We've got the next red source next turn. Whoo boy. We make them sack the Satyr there to chump that. So, I mean, we attack all here. We've got more creatures coming up, and now we flood the deck with lightning bolts. Yeah, the Satyr can't block, so here we are hitting for 11 now. And last turn, you know, I was really hesitant, and I felt like maybe it was still probably incorrect to attack in the way that I did, but when you think about it, if I hadn't have done that, they wouldn't have had a small enough creatures for that attack to get in this turn to put them down to 3 to dead to a lightning bolt. So, it might have panned out still. Ooh, boy, okay. Alright. Opponent says hello with Agadeem's Awakening. That's Torbran, Anax, and Cursebound Witch on the board. Tons of blockers, so really just trying to draw a Lightning Bolt off Toralf's Disciple, so play a bunch of cheap creatures here. We also have Embercleave probably finds a win out of nowhere. It's very easy for them to block incorrectly when we have an Embercleave on the attack. Although I really also want to play Glorybringer in attack. So we blow something up when Glorybringer attacks, and we draw a card when we play it still. We have so many incredibly good options here. I don't know what's best. Okay, so play the exiled land over the one that's in hand. I feel like because I draw cards off of the creatures that I cast in exile, well, the creatures that I cast, period, I'm supposed to be casting a creature rather than going for an Embercleave. Because, I mean, if I attack with all this, how likely is it that they find a way to survive an Embercleave? I guess I could Huntmaster and then I can do both. Yeah, I can Huntmaster and do both. That's probably better than Glorybringer here. Draw a Ranger class. Alright. Get in there, squad. Worst case scenario, we're putting in another playset of Lightning Bolt into the deck. They are currently not dead to Embercleave. They are now dead to Embercleave. Okay. I was like, they might have found the way out of this. Because with Predator on Mammoth, they could sack a creature and then Predator would be a 7/7. There is the concession. I think no matter how they blocked, they were dead to Embercleave. I guess if they put a Nax on the 1/1, that would stop Embercleave. I would only be able to do 1 to it. And then if they put Predator on Mammoth, that stops Embercleave, and they put Torbran on Disciple. Yeah, no, it wouldn't have mattered because then Embercleave goes through that way. But I guess then they could put Torbran and Witch on Disciple, and if they did that, it's still, let's see, 5, and then 1, then 4. Yeah, there's no way they can block and survive Embercleave, actually. Just do the math after the game is already over. Math is for blockers. We are now 3-1 with the Gruul aggro, no matter what, getting a nice average record out of this deck. Alright, here we go, round 5. Turn 1 Pelt Collector is really nice. We've got pretty perfect mana here, too. We have double green, double red if we need it later. I'm a big fan of this. Augur of Autumn also drawing us lands. It's going to be really nice to help hit that Huntmaster a little earlier, if we can. Ooh, Kazandu Mammoth here. I think I would rather play that as a creature. And I'm still not convinced that I'm going to need to play Shatterskull Smashing as a land, and when I do, I can play it untapped, so we're fine with it. Staying in hand until the moment I need the second red. So, ambitious farmhand from our opponent. We draw a Werewolf Pack Leader, which is pretty sweet. Well, I think I'd like to just play Augur of Autumn first. Although I don't have a 4-drop next turn, so I can just play Kazandu Mammoth and play Augur next turn. and still get the value of the playing lands off of it. Plus then I'm attacking with a 5/5 instead of a 2/3. Actually does seem better to just play Mammoth here. Or at least Pack Leader. I probably should have played Pack Leader instead of Mammoth. Because Mammoth is another land if we need it, although we do have Shadow Skull Smashing for that role as well. No, I'm down for Mammoth. I'm down for Mammoth. If we don't hit a land on the top, or as our draw for turn, then we just play Shadow Skull Smashing. It looks like we have, but I'm still going to play Augur of Autumn first. Well, that is one less counter for Pelt Collector. Do we just stay aggressive here, play Pack Leader land? Yeah, that's pretty good. The only way to kill Pelt Collector is a double block now. Yeah, we're just gonna keep it up with the most aggressive plays that we have each turn, rather than the big value plays. Because it is presenting a lot of damage real fast here. That's 8 damage on the attack. So I assume they're considering the double block here. They do have 7 cards in hand. They can expend a few resources to get some of my stuff off the board. They are going to go for the double block trade. Cast a Shadow Skull Smashing for 0, I guess. I was like, why is it showing me that? I already played land for turn. I was like, I could do double red and then X equals 0. If I want to, just cast the sorcery. So our opponent plays a Luminarch Aspirant and a Blast Zone as the land for turn, and an Intrepid Adversary, so they're getting a lot of blockers out here. Alright, we're definitely playing land for turn for our Kazandu Mammoth. That would be 5 mana. 5 mana is enough to Shadow Skull Smashing and kill both their blockers, correct? I believe it is. This should be a really good Shadow Skull Smashing. Oh yeah, this is going to be beautiful. Attack for 8 and draw a card. Ooh, I love Shadow Skull Smashing. That card is very good. And that whole time we had it as a backup land if we didn't hit a land for turn. And there's the concession from our opponent. We are now 4-1? I forgot again. I forgot. We are 4-1 as we head into round 6. Don't think this hand is particularly keepable. We've had a lot of mono green hands that would work out. This is not one of them, with a 6-drop being the first play. I'm gonna go ahead and mulligan this one. Opponent is on the play, so we could, we draw a card before we do anything, but I'm not gonna take that risk here. This is much better. We have Great Henge turn 4. Turn 3 Sword Tooth, turn 4 Great Henge. Yeah, I'm very into it. And then we play the Mammoth to draw the card, try to get to that red source. Actually, I totally forgot I have to get rid of a card here. Maybe we just get rid of Escape to the Wilds. Play it safe, but it is such a high impact card late game. I'm going to get rid of a forest here, because the worst case scenario, if we don't draw land by turn 2, then we just play the Mammoth as Kazandu Valley on turn 2. And then if we do, then that's going to be better than probably better than having Escape to the Wilds on the bottom here. So our opponent's on green, black, Jadar, and we do hit a land turn 2, and it's a red-green source. So we know we get to cast Escape to the Wilds. I actually am probably going to play Kazandu Valley here anyway to guarantee, well, we only need 4 mana to get to Great Henge, which guarantees Escape to the Wilds, because it gives us the mana we need. And this is 4 mana if we play Mammoth. I'm going to play Kazandu Valley here. So no matter what we draw into, we can turn 3 Sword Tooth, turn 4 Henge, turn 5 Escape. So Jadar's doing his thing, hitting us with a Decayed Zombie token. Spits one of those out every end step. Similar to an Ophiomancer, it's good with sacrifice synergies, just constantly giving you stuff to sack. And a Grizzly Salvage from our opponent, they get to choose from these 5 a creature or a land to put into their hand, the rest go into the grave. They choose the land, Woodland Cemetery. So green-black self-mill, green-black graveyard synergies it looks like here. Play our Swordtooth, get our additional land for turn. Hopefully they don't kill the Swordtooth, because they can't attack or block anyway, so I don't see a big reason for them to do so unless they think we still have 2 more lands in hand. Because then Swordtooth would let us play the additional land and play a 6-drop next turn. That would be pretty scary. Hoping they don't kill it here, because then we can spend 4 on the Great Henge and cast Disciple in the same turn, draw a card immediately and gain some life. Do all that good stuff. Alright, can't block either, so we're taking another 3 from Jadar. Luckily, if Great Henge resolves and stays on the board, that'll mitigate most of that Jadar damage. Uh-oh, Demonic Tutor. Grab any card from their library, put it into their hand, then shuffle. Fauna Shaman is the play for turn. I love Fauna Shaman. Very into it opponent. Good stuff. They can now discard a creature to search their library for any creature and put it into their hand. We are 1 permanent off from Wayward Swordtooth being able to attack and block here. I'm not going to attack with Disciple here, going to leave a blocker up. So Fauna Shaman's really good against the Great Henge because there are multiple creatures in the cube that can like destroy an artifact or enchantment when they enter the battlefield, so I would be surprised if the Great Henge stays around. I'd expect like they discard a creature to Fauna Shaman and then play Reclamation Sage or something that destroys an artifact when it comes into play. But at least by playing Disciple, we get the immediate value from the Great Henge, get 1 card draw off of it, minimum. Got Eternal Bonsu, okay. Great Henge gets another turn. Though we have no more creatures to cast into it to draw any cards off of it. Ooh, Primal Might to attack really large. I think I'm just on Escape to the Wilds here. Yeah, I'm just on Escape to the Wilds here. Got Essica's Chariot, Pelt Collector, Werewolf Pack Leader. We can do Pelt Collector and Pack Leader same turn. It's pretty good. Draw a card off each of them. Draw Tovolar's Huntmaster. We have the mana... or we have the permanence for Wayward Swordtooth to go off now too, which is great. Yeah, we're just going off with big value stuff here. We have Essica's Chariot plus Ren and 7. That's not going to go off immediately, because I am going to want to cast all my exiled cards first, ideally. Fauna Shaman from our opponent. There's the Reclamation Sage. As I envisioned. But we did get that extra turn off of the Great Henge, so it still put in a ton of work for us. Did a lot of great things. Feed the Swarm on our Pack Leader. When that dies, our Pelt Collector is going to get another counter up to a 4/4, which means it has Trample too. Send him with the Decayed Zombie, because they're going to get a replacement anyway, so no reason not to. Time for Essica's Chariot Embercleave, get our max value here. They know that we have an Embercleave coming though, we need to attack with 3 creatures to do it. But that's fine, I think. We're going to take a decent crack back here, but that's only if they don't block a lot here. I feel like they have to block a lot here, because I know there's an Embercleave coming down. This is already, like, 13 damage. Ooh, Pelt Collector trampling over for a little bit. Embercleave on the Swordtooth to kill the Bonsu. All their creatures die here, and we trample over for 9. This is very nice. Bonsu does go back into their library. So it's not permanently gone, but gone long enough for us to hopefully close the game out next turn, maybe? Even if not, we've got the card advantage by a long shot. We've got 5 cards left in hand versus 3 in theirs. Yeah, the Great Henge, really. Great Henge and Escape to the Wilds in conjunction just drew us so many cards. Opponents in the Think Tank. They have access to any creature in their deck with Fauna Shaman if they have a creature in hand. Unburial Rites to bring back Rex Sage to kill Essica's Chariot or Embercleave. They're going to kill the Embercleave. Get rid of some of our trample. They have 2 blockers. We hit for a guaranteed 6. I think we just win if we Primal Might. They have 1 mana up. I think we definitely win if we Primal Might. To play it really safe, we'll go for the Ren and 7 Chariot combo 2 here, though. Means we have 2 mana to play around with for Primal Might. But I think we're already lethal on board. Yeah, they scooped them up there. That's lethal just right there. Didn't even need to dump out our Ren and 7 post-combat. Or post-Primal Might. Pre-combat so we can copy a Tree Folk. Either way. Ridiculous game for us, tons of card draw, and that is going to lead us into 5-1 now. Alright, we're on the play here with a bit of a risky keep. We only have the 2 drop, and then we really need to hit a land at least, but preferably 2. Probably shouldn't keep this, but turn 2 Ranger class. That's just a hell of a drug, and even if we get cut off of our 3rd land, we can spend the turn leveling up Ranger class at least. Gives us something to do worst case scenario. We do draw Pelt Collector as well, but definitely better to just slam down the Ranger class first. Although an unsummon from our opponent would be very unfortunate here, permanently kill our 2/2. They are on blue. Blue-black it looks like with Drowned Catacomb turn 2 into Augur of Bolas. We do hit the 3rd land turn 3. Augur of Autumn is going to be my play here, I think. Although... also Toralf's Disciple to attack in with that, or Pelt Collector and up the Ranger class so that can attack into their 1/3. I like all those options. I think I'm going to buff the Ranger class, actually. And then next turn, if we don't hit a land, we play Toralf's Disciple. And we keep going wild. Yeah, I'm very into what the Ranger class is doing here. Letting our 2/2 attack into their 1/3. There's a Palladium Mirror from our opponent. 2/2, and we hit land for turn 2, never didn't have it. Now we've got an Embercleave coming up. We could attack Pelt Collector and Wolf, and then we can Embercleave if we need to, and if we don't, then we just Essica's Chariot. I don't know if that's our best line, but it's cool, it's fun. Probably not our best line. We're probably not supposed to just Embercleave immediately here. Probably are supposed to Chariot. Which means we don't attack with Pelt Collector. Actually, no, we probably still do, because the only way we lose Pelt Collector is if we trade with Palladium Mirror, and that keeps them off mana. Say we just do this, and we just don't Embercleave. Just play the Chariot. So our opponent has 6 mana now thanks to Palladium Mirror adding 2. 4 lands and a Palladium Mirror. Tap the mirror. I hate that it's pronounced mirror, because I call them Murs. Or I used to call them Murs for the longest time ever. So it always feels weird to have to call them that. Do we want a crew chariot here? And just sack the chariot itself? That feels wrong. I'm probably just supposed to sack the cat. Yeah, let's sack the cat. Okay. Can't play Embercleave here if I want to cast Disciple or Augur, because they'll only be attacking with 2 or 3 creatures. If I really want to play Embercleave here, then I don't. I just attack with Chariot and the Wolf and make another Wolf. That seems fine by me. Now we're open to playing Embercleave if it's going to be lethal, and if not, we play our Augur. It's very possible it could be lethal here. It would hit for 12 now if we Embercleave. So not quite. Yeah, 6, so 12 minus 3, 9. Plus 3, 12. Yeah, no. Just let that through. Save Embercleave for the literal lethal and play Augur bottom here. Did I play land for turn? If I did, that was wrong. I did, because I can't play this. I should not have played land for turn yet. Whoops. This is a good draw, though, to just cast as a spell instead of a land, so it's all good. It's a good removal spell. So we're not punished that hard. If it was just like a basic forest or a basic mountain, that'd be a pretty big punishment. Alright, so we really want to find lethal this turn, because if we don't, Eldest Reborn's going to bring back a creature. Which I guess is just a 1-3 or a 3-3. Actually, never mind. Still should always be trying to find lethal, but we'll see what they cast here. Yorion, Sky Nomad. Bounce the Eldest Reborn, make us sack another card here. Bounce Palladium Mirror so that it's an untapped blocker. Yeah, that's pretty good. We're going to sacrifice our 2/2 wolf. So Shatter Skull Smashing. We can kill Palladium Mirror, but that's it. Kill one of their blockers. That does not seem worth it. Drakuzeth on top, okay. If we attack all, that blocks there, that blocks there, that hits for 3, that hits for trample over 4. Plus 6, 10. That would be lethal if we attack all and they have nothing here. Geist Wave, so they do have something here. That works. No, we definitely don't have lethal. Could still Embercleave if we attack for 2, it costs 4, and then we don't get to recast Chariot. Yeah, we don't have a good attack here anymore then. We have to discard a card next turn too, so now we're going to have to discard the Shatter Skull Smashing. Rather than play it as a land, because I'm not discarding this Embercleave. Although maybe at this point it would have been better to discard Embercleave and play that as a land, and then we're 1 land away from Jakuzeth. Then if we hit an untapped land on top with Augur bottom, we could play Jakuzeth next turn. Opponent is really fighting for this one. Approach the second sun, alright. Well, they're tapped out now. They are at 18, but now we know we just attack all and Embercleave is going off. We have Ren and 7 coming up to copy with Eska's Chariot, which is cool. Alright, yeah, at this point, we're just going in. Make the Chariot big enough that they can't block it even if we don't Embercleave. Okay, they block there. They take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I Embercleave there. That's an additional 6, 7 damage. That's 14 damage to them. More damage than anywhere else, and I have nothing else to cast this turn, so we do it. And hope that is close enough to lethal to get them next turn. They are down to 4. And now I should probably equip Embercleave onto something that it won't fall off of, because it does fall off the vehicle when it's no longer a creature. And all of our other creatures just have like 2 power anyway, except for this wolf. So we could put it on this wolf, I guess. Sure. We'll put it on that wolf in particular. So now they get Yorion back from the grave since they chumped with it. Seems like the best creature in the graves to me. Our opponent might have a different idea, we'll see. Augur of Bolas. Dig 3 cards closer to approach, alright. Speed up the approach clock a little bit here, try to find a Wrath. They find a Poison the Cup. Blow up whatever has Embercleave on it. 3 away from approach now. If they have instant speed card draw, they could get there. Definitely playing Ren and 7 pre-combat and using Ren and 7's token to crew the Chariot here, so we're attacking with as many creatures as possible. We might get approached here if they have card draw. We have a lot of damage on this board. They have to have a really nice defensive hand. Plus card draw. Like if they have Wrath plus Poison the Cup, that's pretty massive. But I don't think they have a Wrath. Alright, so they pass turn. Ren and 7. Tree folk.
Not to fight, but we also will not. The will of the woods.
That makes Pelt Collector bigger. I need to play this land before my Augur of Autumn potentially dies. Now we can crew Chariot with a summoning sick creature to attack with everybody else. And attack all. Copy that. +1/+1 counter. Spread our damage again. Make one of our 2 power creatures 3. Do the augur, I guess. Because they're going to poison the cup our double strikers, so I don't want to overbuff that one. Be Settle the Wreckage here, maybe? They don't have double white, it can't be Settle the Wreckage. Alright, chump block on Chariot, chump block on Augur. It's the most damage they can stop. Salundi Vision digs for the approach, so if they could have survived this attack, they would win. Or I guess if they can survive this attack, they'd win. Because Salundi Vision can draw the approach. Alright, so they can't, so they go for Infernal Grasp, so approach is way on the bottom somewhere, but they might survive this attack now. No, Infernal Grasp, they have to lose 2 life to cast that, so they probably don't. Still. Yep, there's the Poison Cup. Here's the Infernal Grasp. They go down to 2 life and then take 2 damage from the cat. Or the wolf, either one. Yep, that is gonna be game. Things started looking a little bit scary there when they cast an Approach of the Second Sun. They certainly could have drawn into it to redraw it there with that Salundi Vision. They just did not have quite enough to survive that final attack there. So 6-1 now as we head into what could be the final boss. Here we are in round 8, 6-1 with the good Gruul aggro stuff. A little concerned about not having double green here, but it's certainly not worth a mulligan. No plays until turn 3 is also a little sad, but altogether still a hand I definitely like, and Crag Crown Pathway is going to be a great draw for us to get that Augur of Autumn down. Guaranteed. I think I want to play the Sword Tooth first, though, and we also do just hit the straight up forest, so we can play that, and then we have triple red for Drakuzeth if that comes up. Yeah, Augur of Autumn doesn't really hit our opponent particularly hard, so I like playing Sword Tooth first, so we're just doubling our land drops every turn. We're not really going to be attacking with the Augur. Ooh, Outland Liberator could kill that Mind Stone, but it's not the greatest thing ever. Just if it's nighttime, it'd be nice, being able to blow it up without sacking it. For now, let's just play the Sword Tooth. We get to play a Glorybringer next turn, even if they kill our Sword Tooth. Glorybringer is going to be awesome. Kill their Llanowar Visionary here. They look to be one of these 4 or 5 color, maybe Golos or Field of the Dead style decks. We see green, white, black, and red from our opponents so far. And a Tendershoot Dryad it is. Alright, I'm killing that with Glorybringer before they get a million Sapperlings. And we do draw Drakuzeth, so 3rd red source it is then. As much as I'd love to play Augur of Autumn for the Sword Tooth Augur combo, where if we hit a clump of lands, we just play through them real quick, it's pretty important to kill Tendershoot Dryad as quickly as possible by exerting our Glorybringer. And now we have a must-kill dragon on the board that might draw removal from them. And that'll pave the way for our other must-kill dragon to potentially survive. Emergent Sequence from our opponent, ramping up yet again, grabbing a Plains. They have 7 mana total. Definitely like Augur of Autumn here. We have 6 mana otherwise, not enough for Drakuzeth. See, I like Augur of Autumn. See if we hit lands on top, that would be wonderful. We also have Coven, so we can cast creatures off the top 2, but we don't have the mana for Hunt Master, so that doesn't matter. So Vraska's Contempt on Glorybringer. It is. Exile that and gain a couple life. So we will not be getting another Exert off the Glorybringer. Tybalt, Cosmic Imposter. About to just lose to a Tybalt. Probably. Tybalt is kind of an immediate lethal sort of card. Exile the top card of each player's library. They get to cast those against us. That's our Tovolar's Huntmaster that we saw. We have 8 permanents. If I play 2 more permanents, then Swordtooth can attack. However, I need to get their 1/1 token out of the way, and I can't do that. Yeah, I mean, Tybalt's just going to go off here. We can't kill Tybalt. Because this 1/1 Saproling, of all things. We could cast Toralf's Disciple off the top if I get Coven, and my only way to get Coven is to cast a 4-mana card, which means I don't have 3 mana to cast Disciple. But I guess the best I can do is guarantee that I hit Tybalt for 2 by ascending here. Although I could Wrenn and 7 and draw a bunch of lands, I guess, because I can play 2 lands per turn off Swordtooth. That's something. Our opponent has Mirari's Wake under their Tybalt too, so they play Mirari's Wake and then just cast 2 cards per turn, everything they hit. We don't have the mana to steal the token with Captivating Crew. Boy, is this not good. I'm gonna go Liberator Crew, I guess. Oops.
I just love your energy.
Just 2 non-land cards again. Toralf's Disciple, Baleful Mastery. Not a miss off of Tybalt so far. They have 7 mana total. Play whatever card they want here. Play Mirari's Wake plus Baleful Mastery. Or Toralf's Disciple. And then with Mirari's Wake out, they can cast absolutely everything they hit next turn. So they just have 1,000,000 mana now. Heartless Act, the Captivating Crew, plus they have the 2 mana Baleful Mastery up. That would let us draw a card when they do it, but they would still do the thing. Attack Tybalt with everybody here. Let them kill our Outland Liberator at the cost of a land. That does stop 2 of their mana because of Mirari's Wake. Yeah, no haste here. Let's just get on that Tybalt. We are hitting for 4. Killing a land, maybe? We are killing a land, very nice. Drax is just going to get hit by Baleful Mastery. Between Chariot and Wrenn and 7, which of those is better? Probably play Chariot first, right? The number of attackers matters more than the size of the attackers. Plus, if we Chariot first, then we can play the Tree Folk off Wrenn and 7 next turn and copy it immediately. I think I'm going to Chariot here. Alright. Opponent has 8, 9, 10 mana out, because all of their lands are 2 mana apiece. They're going to get our Escape to the Wilds here. Just really good. Even if we kill Tybalt, they're still casting these throughout the game because it's an emblem. But at least they're not drawing 2 more every turn. Dryad of the Elysian Grove. They can play additional lands. All their lands are mana of any color. Escape to the Wilds. Yep. Yep. Bunch more lands to play. So they'll have 5. They'll have, I was going to say 5 million mana, but that's an exaggeration. 12 minimum. Next turn they play 2 more lands because of Dryad. It's 16 mana off their lands alone to play around with Tybalt. They've got Huntmaster down. Everything has +1/+1 counters. There's no possible way we're ever getting in now. Yep. Tybalt just straight took this one. As I expected. I did what I thought I could to try to kill Tybalt, and Tybalt is still here, and now they have way too many blockers. Again, we can play a Drakuzeth, but then they just exile it. So that's whatever. I mean, they could even exile it with Tybalt and then cast it against us with the -3. This game's just over. Tybalt.exe does the Tybalt things. And we're now 6-2. Alright, here we are with the final boss, win or lose, the last game of Magic we're playing today. And I'm going to start off with Kazandu Valley here, so we guarantee that turn 3 Rada, get closer to that turn 5 Escape to the Wilds. And there's Esper Sentinel, one of the more annoying cards in the cube. I'm just going to play an Outland Liberator, so if it flips to night, I'll just kill that on the attack. Yeah, this card is, we have to spend an additional 1 mana every time we cast a non-creature spell, or our opponent will be drawing a card. Luckily, we have a decently creature-heavy deck, so we can probably just focus on creatures for a while till that's gone. Which I guess is right now. Goodbye, Esper Sentinel. Frenzied Trapbreaker. Doing excellent work. Thank you very much, Trapbreaker. I'm going to play Rada because it's a more aggressive creature, just higher power than Augur of Autumn, and they both do the same thing currently. Just play lands off the top. So just get more damage down. Banishing Light on Trapbreaker, because if they exile Rada, then Trapbreaker just kills Banishing Light. Anyway, we know we have a Primal Might on top, so Augur isn't going to let us play that anyway, so we'll just play our 4-power creature. Oh yeah, we have a Rada out, so we could already play it if it was a land. I totally forgot they exiled not the Rada. So yeah, Captivating Crew it is. Hit for 3. Oops. Keep hitting the mic. Just slap that mic. So we're playing against Black-White. We've seen Esper Sentinel and Banishing Light, so somewhat controlling here. Probably just some kind of mid-range deck. But Regruel, so we're obviously on the aggro. Our Outland Liberator has been doing a lot of work. Whenever it flips to Frenzied Trapbreaker, that card's been so good in this cube. There's just enough good artifacts and enchantments running around. It does some stuff. So Inscription of Ruin to kill our Rada. So we can't afford Escape to the Wilds anymore. We try to hit a land on top with Augur. And if we do hit one, we get to Battlecry Goblin. Beautiful. Just have our backup Rada in hand. Get right back in there. 5 mana now from our opponent. Gaunty Lord of Luxury it is. Got an Escape to the Wilds coming up, or a Primal Might. And they have now exiled one of our cards to use against us. Since we drew a haste creature here, I really like Primal Might. They're at 10 life. If we fight their Alseid, they're at 11 and they block one of our creatures. And I don't want to fight Gonti because it loses us a creature on the spot. And they could crack Alseid to give Gonti protection, and then we lose 2 creatures to it. Alright, and this way they don't even gain the life because they just sacked the Alseid. So now we get to attack all. And then from Pack Tactics, we'll get a Goblin token. And then once we get that Goblin token, we buff both the Goblins with this ability. They can block there, and then they take 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 exact lethal off a Battlecry Goblin. And that's going to end it. 7 and 2 for the Gruul aggro deck. Really nice deck overall. Really, really enjoyed how that draft went. I'm glad that I held back a little bit on my greedy, goofy self and decided against the Golos because of just how open Gruul ended up being. So instead of just grabbing a bunch of all colors of non-basic lands, we just kept grabbing all of the really good Gruul stuff that was running around the table. We end up with a pretty sweet deck here overall. Here's one final look at the deck as I log off for the day. But as always, I'd like to thank you all very much for watching, and if you want to see more drafts like this, just stick around on the channel. There will be plenty more in the near future. At the end of the month, we have Innistrad Double Feature, which is Midnight Hunt and Crimson Vow in one draft format together. That'll be really cool to see how those mechanics pair up. And then at the start of February, we have, of course, Kamigawa Neon Dynasty, the new return to Kamigawa with cyberpunk themes in there as well, with the kami and the spirits and the humans all living together in kind of harmony now, instead of how original Kamigawa was like the spirit war. So yeah, really cool stuff on the horizon, and I'll have plenty of videos up for all of that. So again, thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.